Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today I'm super excited to be here with Marisa. She goes to McGovern MS2, and yeah, I'm super excited to talk with her. Thanks for coming on the show, Marisa.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. I like helping out people, so it works.
Why don't we just start with this? Uh, what made you want to go into medicine in the first place?
Yeah, so I think you'll hear a lot of people probably say that they like helping people, and that's completely okay. I like helping people as well. But you got to think so, like, you could be a nurse or a social worker or do anything like that and help people. I fell in love with anatomy when I was in high school and undergrad. And as weird as it is, this is sort of gory, so I'm sorry if y'all are like animal lovers, but I hunt. I'm from Texas, we hunt, and it was like not dissecting, I guess, gutting a deer, cleaning it for its meat. That's where I actually was like, oh, cool. My dad's like, that's the liver, that's the heart. And it was like so cool to see. So I fell in love with anatomy because of hunting, which is okay. I wrote about that in my personal statement, and I'm in medical school, so it's okay. But yeah, I just liked anatomy. I know I'm more of a leader type of personality, so I didn't really want to be on the lower end of things. I want to be making like decisions, and I fell in love with anatomy, so I just included the two, and I was like, oh, medical school seems cool. But I don't have any doctors in my family or anything like that, so I've done this whole entire process solo. But it's okay. I like it.
You mentioned a little bit about your fiance, your relationship. I think you guys got married this summer, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so congratulations on that, first of all.
Thank you.
Happy for you with that. But yeah, how was your experience with the relationship at med school? How do you guys meet? How was planning the wedding during med school? Kind of just walk us through different experiences that you had. Yeah, how was your med school relationship?
Yeah, so everyone's a little different. I my story, I guess. Let's start with that. I met my husband when I was an undergrad. He was a family friend, and we reconnected at a UT football game. And one thing led to another, and now we're together. So that was exciting. But he's not medicine. He's a football coach. He's super smart, like literally the smartest guy I've ever known. Like photographic memory and all that stuff. Was going to go into medicine, and then decided to follow his heart and coach kids. So that's what he did, and I think we relate better because he's very intellectually savvy. So he understands when I start talking about medicine. He may not know the ins and outs of every disease, but he gets the gist of it because his mind can get all of the avenues. Um, but I like having someone that's not in medicine, and other people are different. But I like personally because all day long you're going to be with friends that study and talk about medicine and do everything about medicine. And oh, after an exam, you're going to go out to a bar or something and talk about the exam and talk about medicine. And so it's like my little like getaway from medical school. But I can come home and actually talk to a living human being, something other than, oh, this disease that we just learned. So that's exciting. And I like that. The planning of wonderful marriage is not fun if you're trying to actually have a wedding during medical school. So I did the majority of the planning summer before first year of medical school. I got engaged May, and then June you graduate ish. May you graduate from an undergrad, and then I like planned everything that summer because I knew you won't have time during medical school. And I highly recommend that for any of my females slash males out there that want to plan a wedding. Don't do it during medical school. Don't do the bulk of it during medical school if you can help it. Now, when you get married, I've already given this advice to a few of the incoming people, is up to you. I like the summer break because my school gave us a break between first year and second year. Some schools are different varying lengths of how much time you get off. Another time is winter break. There's like usually 1 to 2 weeks off you can have off. But other people in my class literally got married. Granted, it's the guys, it's not the girls. The guys got married the day after one of our exams. So he literally went from an anatomy practical, quickly went home, showered to get like formaldehyde smell off of him, and went to his rehearsal dinner. And the very next day got married. So you can do it by all means. I wanted the stresslessness of it by doing over like a break. But needless to say, I did not find my wedding dress and some other stuff details that I still need to do. I just did it random weekends. I would have either my mom come down or my sister or my maid of honor come down to Houston, or I would drive up to them and finish the last minute detail planning type of stuff throughout the year. It's totally doable. Just also you can give all the duties to someone else and let them plan it as long as they know what you sort of care about. And if you're not like a big diva, like I really wasn't, I just was like, plan it. My husband actually took care of like photography and all that type of stuff. So I don't have to worry about it. So that's that. For other people in medicine, you don't have to be with a non-medical person. You can definitely be with a medical person. And a lot of our classmates are like dating, and that's totally doable. You can date in medical school. You can come in single and live life and be fine. There's like our school's mixed with like a lot of different, we have like the dental school near us. We have got Baylor Medical School near us. So we'll do like little mixers with different schools. So you don't have to be with someone in your class. And then some of my friends are like on dating apps, or because Houston's huge. It's like third or fourth largest, like depending on what the census will be this year. We're huge. So you can find anybody and date. You just have to set expectations. And so me and my husband are really, really good about communication, where I'm like, hey, it's exam week. I probably will talk to you a total of like 5 minutes this week. And he gets it. But we're also long distance. So it's not one of those where I come home and get distracted and want to talk to him. Like I have an apartment in Houston, so I just go home and study all day long, and we'll call or FaceTime every day or something like that. But it's like communication. I know if he's got a super hard week, I won't pester him as much and all that stuff. But since we both like study / work 6 to 7 days a week, I think it works better than if you're with someone that maybe has a part-time job or something like that and doesn't get the drive that you really do have to study 9 to 5 every day. Sorry. Like I'm trying to have a good career and a good life, and medical school is a lot of information.
Okay. So you mentioned that you guys are long distance. How do you make a relationship work in medical school? I guess is it just a lot of constant communication, or what kind of tips do you have for people who are maybe would be in your situations right now? Seems like a lot, right?
Yeah, it is, but it's okay. If you love the person, you're good. No, there's more details than that. You can love someone in medical school, can still hurt you guys. I would say before you get into medical school, start setting boundaries. You won't know until you get in how crazy your life will be. But if you set boundaries early, at least y'all can, like, let's start with this. I don't have a clingy boyfriend / fiance / husband, so I don't have to deal with that. But some of my classmates have, and they've had to like literally deal with someone like whining, like, why don't you spend more time with me? And they're like, do you not realize what I'm going through? It's a lot. So for me, I had to, if I wanted to see my fiance, I had to drive down and like see him in person, because he works 7 days a week during football season. There was no way he could drive to Houston besides like his 1 week. That's a bye week. So I had to sacrifice, and I would just drive down. But on my drives, I would listen. Honestly, I tried listening to like podcasts or like in like educational material or like lectures and all that stuff. And then I decided, nah, but that's my free time. I'm just going to like listen to music and like maybe do an audiobook or something like that when I drive for fun. And then whenever I landed, I would study more. But other people may do different. Maybe use that time to actually learn instead of wasting the time like I did. But I'm going on a tangent on that one. I'm sorry. But I would go down there in the spring. He would come up to me, and then obviously COVID happened. Okay. So that's another thing. COVID happened and my wedding got canceled because it was a destination wedding. And so my last exam of spring, I was studying. It was like 2 or 3 days before the exam. And he comes in and he's like, hey, by the way, our wedding got canceled. You study for your exam. I got it. Don't worry about it. Have fun, study. I'm like, what the, like, our wedding just got canceled. What? Like, I need to study right now, but excuse me. So that was exciting. So I had to plan a wedding during the summer in like the span of a week. I did like the majority of it in 48 hours. I was a powerhouse. I got like flowering, catering, venue, all of that done in like 48 hours. I hate planning. Like that's not my thing. Other people will like love wedding planning. I was not that person. So I got it all done. And we just got married in my parents' backyard, and it was perfect. It was wonderful. We're still supposed to do our destination wedding as like basically for picture's sake. And since we already put all the money into it, we can't get our money back this upcoming December. So hopefully that happens, and hopefully football season doesn't ruin it again. Right now their playoffs are supposed to be during that time, so we'll see. So anyways, he would drive down in the spring until COVID happened. Then I just moved back in with him because we lived together before medical school started. But we would, during the semester, we would just FaceTime every day. And I know that's not feasible for everybody. One of my other friends in medical school, I don't know what app it is. It's not Snapchat. It's something else. I'm not tech savvy, but like they would do like videos of each other where the other person could see it at any time and then reply back with a video of themselves because they were asynchronous. She lived in California and he lives here. So they would just, she was, I want to say Facebook, she works for Facebook or something like that. So they would just do that. And that's how they communicated throughout the day, where they could always see each other's faces, but they didn't have time that they could sit down and like actually FaceTime one another. We would just do dinners. Like when I was like either baking dinner or eating dinner, we would just on FaceTime and chat with each other. And then at night, we'd always call each other. And during like my bus rides to and from campus, I would just call him so I could like talk to him. But still, whenever I get to campus, talk to my friends and have a life here and not always be consumed by him. Like I love him and he's in my life, but I also like, I'm a personable person. I'm a bubbly person. I like to be around other people. So I would have like my medical school friends and then like my friends back where he is, and it would work. But you just got to set time, and you got to make time for the person. Like if you're only going to go out with your medical school friends and never see that person, like your significant other, that's not going to work either. Like they're going to start resenting you, and that's not fun. So I know a lot of our class, they bring like their spouses or significant others to like our block parties, which is the party we have after each exam. It's like all 240 students almost, I feel like, go to these things, and they like run out like bars and stuff like that. And then people that don't drink do like their own like game night and stuff like that. Like you don't have to drink alcohol.
Okay, that's good to know. So what kinds of traits do you think a relationship would need then? Maybe in general, but especially like in med school, when you have all these different things that are going on.
People say it all the time, you have to communicate, but you really do. Like you do have to be understanding of what the other person's going through. And for like this not person that's or even this. So I've got one person in medical school with me who's my classmate, and the other one's at A&M Medical School. And so they're both in medical school at the same time and the same year and everything. And so that's really hard. Like they have to see in their schedule, when can I come see you? But you just have to make the effort. I would say if you want to be in a relationship in medical school, you just have to realize that there's a lot of effort involved, and you're going to have to put forth your side. You may be super tired after a week of studying, but your significant other hasn't seen you all week because you've been in the trenches and dying and studying every day, all day long. And they want to see you, when all you may want to do is just lay down and be like, nope, I don't want to talk to you and I don't want to see anyone. Let me curl up and hibernate or do whatever it is that you do to recuperate. But that other person's like, hey, like I'm here and I haven't seen you and I'd really like to spend time with you. So just communicate with one another and be like, hey, I'm really tired. Do you mind if we just like watch a movie and stay in instead of going out? And at least you're near them, but you can fall asleep and it's fine. And they can at least stare at you while you sleep or something like that. I don't know. But you just communication, put forth the effort and realize it's not going to be easy. There's going to be bumps in the road and that's okay. But if you feel like they're draining your life, like, okay, if you just start a relationship, I'm sorry, this might be a little rude, but if you just start a relationship and you're about to go into medical school, in the first like 2 months, if you feel like they're draining your life force and they're like bringing you down and making you feel guilty for not seeing them and you're choosing studying over me and all that stuff, like even if you've been together with a few years, you can at that point be like, you're not healthy for me and I need a break. And that's okay, because they don't understand what you're going through. They will not, unless they're in medicine. And even then they may still be all about yourself, but you should not ever feel guilty about studying versus hanging out with either your family or your husband, fiance. Well, husband, you're sort of stuck together unless you want to get a divorce. So don't do that. Like set boundaries early. But if it's like a boyfriend that you just met, honey, get like rid of him. Or girlfriend, if she's super clingy, get rid of her. Like you need to do your mental health and like know that medical school comes first. And you got to let other people know that, like, hey, medical school comes first. Like family comes first, and they do. Like if it's during winter break, I'm sorry, I'm going to go hang out and see my family for Christmas instead of studying randomly on Christmas Day. But there's give and take. Like you do have to study. And that means sometimes people that may have always been in your life and maybe the forefront, maybe they take a little sidestep every once in a while. And they have to be okay with that. And you need to communicate with them that it's going to be a little different from here on out. It's not undergrad. You're not going to have 3 hours of class in the morning and the rest of the day off to do what you want. Like you do have to put the time and effort into medical school, and therefore you have to put the time and effort into your relationship to make sure everyone gets together, like they're best friends as well, your education and your person you're with.
What are some things you wish you knew before going to med school? Maybe if you could go back in time and tell yourself one thing or a few things about med school, what would you what would you tell yourself?
Yeah, I'd say you're good enough to be in medical school. I had so much self-doubt when I was applying to medical school, and like I interviewed across all the state of Texas. I didn't apply elsewhere. I only wanted to stay in Texas. And I interviewed way 10 times more places than I thought I was going to. And you got to have like confidence in yourself and realize that pre-health offices like take everything they say with a grain of salt. Like if they're helping you with your essays, take that. But if they say you're not good enough to be in medical school, like I got told that, and I flying colors on how many interviews I got across the state and how many pre-match offers I got and stuff like that. So I would say take everything with a grain of salt that people are telling you in undergrad. On your interview trail, realize if you get offered an interview, that means you're good enough to be at that school. On paper, they love you. They just need to see face to face if you match what your paper is and if you're a good fit for that school. And then if you're going to be choosy like I was and pre-matched across everywhere, then do the school that matches your personality. No matter what, you're going to learn medicine. Like no medical school is going to teach you to be a bad doctor. Like everyone's going to teach you to be a good doctor, but choose the school that you feel most at home with. Like if you're a very, very quiet person, then maybe don't go to the super loud, bubbly school. Or if you're a super loud, bubbly person, then maybe don't go to like the smaller school that only has a few people that you can't branch out as much as you'd like to. Or look at the opportunities in that area. If you know, oh, I definitely want to be an orthopedic surgeon, then maybe don't go to the medical school that doesn't offer, like, I don't think that is even possible, but doesn't offer like the specialty you want to go into around that area. That's if you're going to be choosy. By any means, if you only match to one school, go to that one school, be happy, and it'll be great because you're going to be a doctor and you get the MD or DO after your name, and it's be fine. But the advice, like, just be happy no matter what, and realize that you're smart enough. You are going through this crazy process, but you're smart enough to go very, very far places. If you put enough effort into it, you'll be great.